My name is Tim, and this is the story of a motorcycle journey back and forth across America. It starts in Orlando, Florida, crosses the country to Los Angeles, California, where we ride Run for the Wall to Washington, D.C., and finally home to Orlando, Florida. In 2019, my nephew and I rode our bikes from Florida to Sturgis, South Dakota, and then down to Colorado. As soon as I got home from Colorado, I started making plans to ride to California that next spring and participate in Run for the Wall. But that year was 2020, and we all know how messed up 2020 was. As was 2021. In 2022, we made it happen. If you haven't seen my previous 2 videos about our trip from Florida to California, now would be a good time to stop and catch up on those. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I first heard about Run for the Wall about 5 years ago. I only knew the basics, that it was a cross-country motorcycle run supporting veterans. At check-in, we were asked to support the run by volunteering on the staging crew. We had no idea what staging was, except that it is one of the many teams that work to make the run successful. So off we went, 2 clueless FNGs riding with the staging crew, even though FNGs weren't supposed to be allowed to volunteer, and we weren't even sure what the staging crew was. We were so green that when we passed the platoon of road guards riding along in a tight formation, I just assumed that's what road guards do. Yeah, that's not what road guards do, and this turned out to be probably the only time an FNG would ever pass the road guard platoon like that. It wasn't long before I was dreading getting back on the road with the staging crew. Don't get me wrong, the people on the staging crew are great, and they are excellent riders, especially the leadership, Steve, Rick, Bob, and Joe. I am glad I got a chance to ride with them, but I was riding outside of my comfort zone, and this wasn't the Run for the Wall experience I was expecting. Riding in Run for the Wall formation is very unique. It's hundreds of motorcycles at highway speed, running mostly side by side with a little over a bike link between you and the bike ahead of you. You don't use your brakes to slow down, and you don't look at the bike that's 15 feet ahead of you. We stopped for lunch in Needles, California, and I decided something needed to change. I talked to leadership and worked it out so we would finish the day in the pack, bringing up the rear of Platoon 2. On that last leg of day 1, I wound through the high desert hills of Arizona with the pack. Since the rest of the staging crew had left ahead of us, seeing some of their motorcycles stop beside the interstate with emergency vehicles told me something was wrong. Motorcycle riding is unforgiving of mistakes. A single moment's loss of focus can lead to an unrecoverable situation. I had already spent that first day worrying I would cause an accident, so witnessing the aftermath of what turned out to be a fatal crash involving somebody I was just riding with shook me up a bit. I took the crash as a sign, So day 2 became our last day riding with the staging crew. We rode in Platoon 2 for the rest of the run. At Red Rock Park in Gallup, New Mexico, we were part of a unique Native American Gathering of Veterans ceremony. It was an amazing experience. Run for the Wall is the largest and longest organized cross-country motorcycle run of its kind in the world. For 32 years, Run for the Wall has departed California to arrive in Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day weekend. Day 3 felt like a new start. I was now just another average FNG rider trying to figure out how to ride at highway speed 15 feet behind the bike ahead and not use brakes to slow down. It didn't go smooth at first for a lot of us. Run for the Wall stays on schedule with military precision despite the weather. We rode through dust storms, high winds, rain, snow, sleet, and temperatures from over 100 degrees down into the 30s. The mission of Run for the Wall has 4 main points: to promote healing among all veterans and their family and friends, to call for an accounting of all prisoners of war and those missing in action, to honor the memory of those killed in action from all wars, and to support our military personnel all over the world. I had worked the staging team for 2 days, but it wasn't until I rode in with the pack that I finally understood the tough job the fuel and staging teams have. The pack in formation is hundreds of bikes stretched down the interstate. When it's time to fuel up, the neat and orderly line of bikes exits the road and transforms into a chaotic horde. We edge our way up to a pump and fuel side by side, sometimes paying a flat $10 for a fill-up, and sometimes not paying at all because of the generosity of the community we're passing through. When we leave the pump, we're directed to the staging area where we look for our platoon number, and the staging crew returns the order to the pack. 300 motorcycles, order to chaos to order in 20 minutes. I knew this story would be hard to stitch together. I left for California with a rough idea of how the trip would play out. It turned out to be nothing like I thought, but somehow so much more. Look for one more video to bring this story home, and thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.